Hello friends, you're all welcome back to the channel. Today I will be talking about the cost of living in Turkey. I have made a video like this before, but I decided to make these videos back. I remember 2 weeks ago I made a video about job which I have done before. Now I am doing this one again because the cost of living in Turkey has dramatically changed for good. Now, $1 is about 15.8 Turkish liras as of today that I'm making this video. So the thing is so difficult, right? I mean, life is quite expensive now in Turkey. So I am making this video because of people who may be coming in summer or people who may be planning to come at the end of this year. So you have a very good information of what you will be expecting to see in Turkey. I will be giving a full analysis of what the rents, the transportation, the bills, of education. So this video may be a little bit longer. So if you are ready, let's dive into it. Now, the first one that I will be starting with is rent. Now, rent in Turkey has skyrocketed within the space of 6 to 8 months. Before, the rent was really so low, but now it is really very high. Now, you need to know that people who are living in Antalya, they pay more. People who are living in Istanbul, they pay more. Also, people who are living in Ankara. So this thing happens, or the factors that affect rent depends on the city. Even in that city, it depends the location where you decide to live in. So now, what you need to understand is that if you are going for, 1 plus 1 or 3 plus 3, the prices will also change. For example, my house is 3 plus 1. Now, 3 plus 1 here, I pay almost $220. Now, that is about 3,000 and above here in Ankara. Now, if you want to get a house that is the same, similar, in a place like Mamak in Ankara or Keçiören in Ankara, the price is not the same because the area where I'm living, the prices are a little bit higher. If you are in, you want to get the same house in Mamak or you want to get it in Keçiören, you'll find out that the prices will be lower. What you need to understand is that the prices changes because of the location. Now, if I want to give you, if I'm telling you the prices are same, it's crazy. So now you need to know, gauge your pocket. How much do you have? What is your price? Where you want to live? So comfort as well matters. And there are high-rising buildings around where you can get above 3,000 Turkish liras. You get like 5,000, you get like 7,000. This is in Ankara. Now, if you go to Antalya, in the city center of Antalya, you have about 7,000, 10,000 Turkish liras. Yes, in Antalya. If you go to Istanbul, you have similar prices, like about 5,000, 6,000 in places like Beşiktaş, in places like Taksim and Beyoğlu. Those places you have better houses and the prices are very, very high. So now you need to know what you really want. Now, if you are paying your rent, I remember somebody was asking me, do they pay rents, for 1 year? Because back in my country, the way rents are being paid is you pay upfront, you pay for 1 year. Some they even take 2 years. But here, the way it is being paid is that you pay monthly. So if you are paying $200 for 1 month, that means you will be paying $200 every month. Now calculate it, you don't need to pay for 1 year, you pay monthly. So that is how the payment or the way rent is being done here in Ankara. And I think mostly in Europe, I don't know any other country in Europe where they pay upfront like a year rent. So if there is anybody who knows this, please write in the comment section. Now, when you rent a house, also I said in the previous video about contract, please try to sign house contract. It will really help you a lot while you are, applying for your residence permit. If you also want to get your what's it called, physician that is living around that locality, you will be able to, gain access to physicians that are living around that. There are family doctors in every neighborhood. So if you're able to get, register your house, get a house contract, these things will help you. There are benefits of house contract actually. Now, if you are a family person, you need to understand also that you tend to pay more. For example, if you're going for 3+1 or 4+1, so it depends what your capacity, how many people in your family. So all these things will matter when you are trying to get a house. Now let's move to the next part so I don't spend so much time on house rent. The next part is bills. Now here you have a lot of bills to pay. Of course, everyone who is living in Europe, we all know this, that you have to pay a lot of bills. Here I have to pay electricity bill, which I pay about 200 Turkish liras and above. So if you calculate that to the dollar, like I told you, 15.8 Turkish liras. So you can calculate what it is. Now don't forget, I'm going to give you a rough sketch of how much I spend in a month on bills. So like I said, I pay about 200 and above for electricity here in Ankara. And also, if you go to water bills, I pay about 80 Turkish liras, 60 to 80 Turkish liras in a month for water bills. And something I forgot to say also for the house. Every house in Turkey, they have cleaners. In these houses, these buildings, there are people who come to take away the trash, and there are people who come to wash the staircase and make it clean the elevator and all that. So you must pay money for this. They call it IDAT. So you have to pay this. It is on the must wherever you find yourself. So some houses they pay about 100, and some places that they pay about 150, and some they have about 300. So it depends where you find yourself. You calculate it and add it up to your house rent. Now, if your house rent is like 3,000 Turkish liras, then your IDAT is about 150. That means you are paying 3,150 Turkish liras. Now, that's done for the house rent, and let me continue with the bills. Now, I talked about electricity, I talked about water bills. Now, the next bill also that you should be expecting is that gas or home heaters. Here, you will find out that in winter your house must be heated. So this last winter it was really crazy. Every household, they all cried a lot because you'll be getting like 1,000 Turkish liras for gas. It was quite expensive for everybody last winter, and I paid a lot. Like every month I pay about 800 Turkish liras, and I paid these things for roughly starting from November, December, January, February, March. For 5 months I was paying about 800 Turkish liras. So if you calculate it in a month, what you pay in a month, it's quite expensive. So the price all changed within the period of 8 months. In the past, I think I was paying about 300 Turkish liras for a month for gas. Now I paid about 800 in a month. So you can see it is times two. Now everything changed, like I said. The next one, or the next bill also that I pay is internet bill, home internet. I use home internet that is called Tuk Telecom, and you have to, the way it is being done here, if you really want to pay, get it cheaper, you have to sign a contract that for 2 years you will be using this internet, so you will get it cheaper. So I have a contract that lasts for 2 years, and that means I will pay like 160 Turkish liras. Yes, the prices went up as well. Before I was paying 100, now I pay 160. So there are changes also for the home internet. The next bill also that I pay is my telephone internet, mobile internet. In a month, before I was recharging 60, 50, 60, like that, 50 Turkish liras or 60 Turkish liras. But now I recharge about 100 Turkish liras. So everything automatically went up. Some people they have lower gigabyte. For example, I go for 19 or 15 gigabyte for my mobile phone, but some people they go for like 2 gigabyte or 3 gigabyte, whichever one that is okay for you. Because I have a lot of things that I do, so I go for something bigger. So if you're going for like 20 gigabyte, that means you'll be paying 90, 100 and 120. So that's where the prices changes. Now the next bill also is sports channel. I equally have sports channel, like I said in the previous video. In a month I pay about 150 Turkish liras in a month for sports channel. Let's move to the next one, which is transportation. Transportation here as well is quite, everything has changed. Prices went up. If you're going to use public transportation, you will have to pay about 6.5 Turkish liras wherever you want to go. So if you're using like the bus, like the metro, whichever one you are using here, you have to pay 6.5 Turkish liras here in Ankara. In Istanbul, I think it's about 8.5 or something like that. And in other cities, smaller cities, you pay about 4.5 Turkish liras. So in the past, the prices were like lesser. Then there is something I forgot to say. In Ankara, for the taxi, if you are using taxi, here you have to pay, the meter, taxi meter starts to read from 7 Turkish liras. That means wherever, even if you move from here to that place, you will have to pay 20 Turkish liras. The meter reads from 7, starts to read 7, that means you pay 7 Turkish liras. If you move from here to a stone throw, maybe you got to the place, you just say, oh, this is the place I'm going to, you must pay 20 Turkish liras. But if you're going to somewhere far away, it is more expensive. So if you are going to be using your own car, you have to fuel your car. It costs about 20 Turkish liras. That's about $1 and above. So everything really changed. In the past, like 6 months ago, 1 liter was about 6 or 7 Turkish liras, but now it is 20 Turkish liras. So everything changed. Now moving into the next one, which is groceries and toiletries and whatever that you may think of that you want to buy from the market, the prices also they have all skyrocketed. So for example, when I go to the market, I usually spend like $100 in a month. That's the money I spend for myself, me alone. But now I spend above that in a month because of the nature or the way things has changed. Now there are so many other things that will be coming up. For example, gym. If you try to go to the gym to keep fit, you have to spend money. For example, here if you go any gymming center here in Ankara, you will find out that they are charging about 300 Turkish liras in a month or 250 in a month. Now if you don't want to pay monthly, you can pay cheaper for like a year. You pay the money in bulk, register for 1 year, and you pay the money cheaper. For example, I registered and I paid about 1,700. If I had to go for every month, pay this money for every month, that means I'm gonna be paying 300 every month. That's way too much money. So I paid cheaper if going for one registration. So if you are a kind of sports person, then you have to spend more money also on keeping fit. And then the next one also is going to the salon if you want to cut your hair. For the ladies, for them to finally I try to learn how much it costs for ladies to dress their hair. Here it's about 500 Turkish liras and above here in Ankara. I don't know in Istanbul how much it may cost, but here in Ankara this is the price it costs. And 500 up to whatever price you may think of, 2,000, 3,000. These are the prices you'll be getting for haircut, for hairdress for the ladies. And for the guys, haircut here is about 150 Turkish liras, going to 200 Turkish liras. So the prices all went up. Let me talk about people who have one or two children. I talked about this in my previous video. I talked about education. If you have a child that is going to school, try to go for the public school. Remember, public schools are not really so good. The quality of education may not be the same with private schools, but if you go to public schools, it is free of charge. They have free education here in Turkey, but the private schools, no. The private schools are really expensive. This ranges from 25,000 Turkish liras to 80 to 100,000 Turkish liras. Yes. For example, the cheapest schools that I know, they pay 25. That is the cheapest school that I know. They pay 25,000 Turkish liras for one academic year. 25,000 Turkish liras, that is about $2,200 in a year. And if you really want to go to high standard schools, whatever schools here, you have to pay about 80,000 Turkish liras for one child. That means if you have three, if you have four, that's a lot of money. Now, that's why I recommend, if you don't have so much money like that, you put your children in public schools, and you will have to, make your child learn Turkish, because the education system here is Turkish language. They don't use English, because I remember there was one of my viewers that was asking me what is the language they use in teaching. Here, what they use is Turkish language. What you also need to know is that education is very, very important. So I would ask you, if you have the money, go to private schools. But if you don't have the money, just go to public schools. Now, I will round up this video by talking about some certain people, young boys and girls that are coming to Turkey. They don't have money. Now, if you are coming to Turkey newly, you don't have enough money with you, you are wondering what you have to do. Now, in Istanbul and in some part here, some cities, people share, rooms, they share flats. If you can get people, for example, I'm living in this flat. I live in 3+1. So I don't have enough money to pay for the bills, for the rent. I, give out the other two rooms. So that means I'm going to reduce the amount of money I pay in a month. So get people where you can share a flat, and you will reduce how much you spend in a month. So if you can get a flat like where you guys are three or four, that means in a month you may be spending something like 500 Turkish liras, or 600 Turkish liras. This is very, very possible. So if you are lucky enough to get a flat where you will share with people, it will be very, very good for you. So that's all I can say in this video. There are a lot of things I can talk about, how much it costs, to live in Turkey. So many, but I feel, I just choose these things to discuss these ones that I have here. And also, I forgot to talk about people who go out to eat in the restaurant. The prices in the restaurant the prices are so high. So if you are planning to go to the restaurant to eat, good luck. So, but for me, I hardly eat in a restaurant. I eat at home. So that's how much I spend for living in Turkey. Now, finally, this is where I'm gonna draw the curtains. Thank you so much for watching this video up to this point. If you have any question, you can leave your comment in this comment section, and as well share this video to your friends and family members. Give me a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and as well like my Facebook page. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video. Goodbye.